This is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Holla. All right, y'all. Hello. This is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Goodness, I can hear myself. Let me try to turn this down. I hate when I can hear myself. Can you guys hear me? Is there an echo? What's up, hybrid? All right, guys. I'm going to try, and I do mean try, once again to break down this common sense topic of why a lot of these relationship gurus, a lot of these level up coaches love to push on younger generation of women that their best option is to get with an older man. I'm going to try once again to tell you why this is a huge mistake. And this is coming from somebody who dated older and it didn't work. Okay, so I'm not just talking out the side of my neck. Faith has lived. And when I say that I lived. So the advice that I give you is always coming from, well, mostly, because I'm not going to say always, it's mostly coming from firsthand experience or having known other people in the number of years. I'm 47 years on this earth, and I've known people that this has not worked out well for. So I can say with all certainty that when relationship coaches come on here and they're selling that snake oil, they're doing it to keep a agenda going. They're doing it to spread propaganda, and they're doing it for clicks and views, but they're not doing it for the right reasons, and that is to help. We keep, especially as Black women, we keep getting told that we have to settle. And it's only Black women mostly, where we're being told that we have to settle down with men who are older, that we're not attracted to, that we have nothing in common with. We're being told that we have to bite the bullet, we have to change, and we have to settle. Meanwhile, nobody does anything to appease us. So you have to really look at, is the energy ever being reciprocated? For other groups of women, the energy is reciprocated. Their men get in the gym, they're trying to be attractive. They're thinking of new and more inventive ways to cure their receding hairlines, while Black men simply cut their hair off. They're in the gym pumping iron, trying to make sure that they're healthy and that, most importantly, they have longevity. Meanwhile, Black men, their health constantly declining later in age, and they're falling off and dying on us. But we're told we got to settle if we want to get the bag. And I'm here to tell you, it's a bad deal. And the energy is not being reciprocated. So hold on a second. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to log off and log back in because I have a really bad echo in my ear. I can hear myself and it's really distracting. So give me a minute. Okay. I'm still hearing that echo. Okay, maybe, hold on, there's two of me back here. Hello? I don't know what it is, but I can still hear myself. Let me try the audio settings. Okay, I'm back. And I'm still, I don't know, I might have to muddle through, but it's very distracting. Can you guys hear me? Is there an echo on your end? Because I can definitely hear myself. Hyver said, yes, it's still there. Okay, let me see. See, I hate to, let me try going back out. Hold on. See, I think the problem is it keeps giving me this extra icon here. Cause see, look, there's two there. I can remove one from the screen, but I can still hear myself. Yeah, that's, I don't know. I'm gonna turn my volume down on my phone. Can you guys still hear me with my volume turned down on my phone? Because I can see my bubble bouncing on my end, but let me know if my volume is too low, because that's the only way I can get through this. You said try muting the other one. Let me see. Oh, you say it's better? Okay. Okay, good. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to work with my volume being turned down. Okay, great. All right. So basically, like I said, I'm going to attempt again to explain to you guys why this is a bad idea with the older man, older woman dynamic, why it's being sold primarily to Black women. Once again, we are the ones that are always being asked to settle. We're the ones always being asked to make changes and to contort ourselves to benefit somebody else. Whereas that energy, ladies, is not being reciprocated to us. So if the energy is not being reciprocated, if we're being told we have to overlook the fact that these men are a decade, 2 decades, sometimes even 3 decades older than us, we have to overlook their geriatric failings. We have to overlook the fact that they have had other relationships in their lives. They got children that they had with other women. We have to overlook a lot to deal with these older men. And that's the reason why I say it's lopsided. If you're in your 20s, ladies, if you're in your 20s, you're childless, you are inexperienced, you have a clean slate in life. Why would you get with someone in their late 40s, early 50s that has more experience than you, that has had children from previous relationships, baggage from other relationships that they haven't dealt with? And I'm telling you, older men with their baggage, they are worse than younger men who don't have baggage. They're worse. Why should we have to settle for that? Because we think we're getting money and we think we're getting stability. So, in going into that, I want to talk about the predatory nature of the whole thing, because there is a very predatory power dynamic and why older men target you as a younger woman in the first place. Because they know that you're inexperienced, because they know that in a lot of cases, there's a lot of things that you just don't know better. Exactly, hybrid. You're getting a liability, basically. But see, we only see stability and money. As a young person, that's what you're looking at. Oh, he's in his 40s and 50s. He's had more time to become financially stable. So you think you're getting somebody that's going to take care of you. And I keep telling, especially younger women, just because they might have a little money, and in our case as Black women, especially if you're dealing with Black men, when they get in their 50s and their 60s, they might hit 60K. And that's a maybe. And very, very few hit 100K. That's about all you can hope for, between 60 and 100K. And then you have a very, very tiny 0.1% that might go over that. So either way it go, you're not dealing with a whole hell of a lot of money anyway. But you see he got his own place. You see he has his own vehicle. You see he has a job or career, whatever. Those are things that you do see. But what you don't see is, you don't see the bad credit from the previous relationship. You don't see the child support that he's paying from the previous relationship and all the outside children that he created before he got to you. You don't see the ex-wife who he still has to pay alimony to or take care of in some way, shape, or form. You don't see the other women in the other households that he's taking care of. So as a young person, you see the surface stuff. This is the stuff that he has to have anyway in order to survive. So if he's a grown man, any grown man worth his salt is going to take care of himself by having a roof over his head, and he's going to have transportation. Okay, these things are given. But you have to look at the overall situation of that older man. Does he have any money saved up? Not just the pension. Pension is nice. But what's in his savings? What's in his checking account? Does he have 6 months worth of savings in case of an emergency? See, if a man can have that, plus his pension and everything else, he might actually have extra money laying around to play around with you with. But if he doesn't have any of that and all you see is just material items, I'm going to tell you something. Material items mean absolutely nothing. A material item such as a car with rims or a nicely furnished apartment or a broken down house, those things are nice, but it doesn't tell the full financial story of what that man has or doesn't have going for him, and does he have extra to spend on you. It doesn't tell the full picture. So if he drives a BMW, does he own it outright? Or is he still paying notes on that? If he lives in the house, look at the condition of the house. Is he keeping it up? Because if he owns a house but it's falling apart, that's a telltale sign that he ain't got extra money. Because if he had the extra money, he would be fixing up his house. If he drives a BMW, exactly, hybrid, or is the car from the auction? I didn't even think about that, but that's true. Or if he drives that BMW, pay attention. Does it sound like the BMW is in good shape? Does it seem like it's falling apart? If it sounds like it's falling apart and it looks like it's falling apart, 9 times out of 10, he ain't got the extra money to give to you. This nigga is probably taking out PPP loans just to trick on you. And this is why I have to warn Black women against only looking at monetary things when it comes to men. Yeah, you want to look at that, but it's not the end all be all. There are certain other things that you have to take into consideration when looking at a man and his finances, and it ain't material objects. Does he have a savings? How much is in the savings? Is his checking account in good standing? What's his credit score? Does he have stocks? Does he have other investments? How many other streams of income does he have besides his regular employment? These are the things that you need to be asking yourself. And the average Black man, once again, the average Black man only bringing in 45K. On average. So if he's earning only 45K on average, you do the math. He's got rent. He might have a car note. He might have child support payments. And this is if you're dealing with older men, because they have had relationships before you. They've had relationships before you. So you can't be young and dumb at the same time talking about you're going to get with an older man. If you're going to do it, go in with your eyes wide open. I bet you won't do it if you actually sat and thought about it, because you'll find out that the juice isn't worth the squeeze when you get to really sitting down and crunching the numbers. Exactly. The probability to cover up an addiction is high. There are way more older men out here that are addicted, alcoholics, drugs, porn, you name it. So let me go through it all. Once again, there's a predatory power dynamic that you deal with when you get with these older men. Because first of all, if you're in your 20s, think about it. You have no experience in anything. You don't have any economic experience, meaning that you haven't had time to get into a career or a job. You don't have money saved up. So that right there in and of itself is going to be a very predatory power dynamic, because you're going in with absolutely nothing. And when you go in with nothing, that means that you're dependent, right? That's the reason why some grown people can be claimed as dependents on income taxes. When you are dependent, that means that there is an uneven power dynamic. And the only thing that evens it out is if he's a good person and he actually respects you as a human being. But usually when older men purposely seek younger women, they want the uneven power dynamic. They don't want you to be independent. They don't want you to have your own. They want you to be dependent on them because they want the uneven predatory power dynamic. That's the reason why a lot of these men will go for women even before they leave high school, because they like the fact that you're dependent on them. So I always implore young people, especially if you're in your teens and early 20s, don't date men that are significantly older than you, because this is what's going to end up happening. Somebody's going to get used. And it's either you using him for his money, but most of the time when guys are older, most of the time they're using you for your youth and your time and your body, because they're not going to give you very much money, especially if it's in the Black community. Because once again, on average, the average Black man makes $45K. Maybe by the time they're 50, they might get up to $60K. So that doesn't leave a whole hell of a lot of money for them to be tricking off on you. That's the reason why they hollering that they're going to get their passports, because their money runs a little bit longer in these other third world countries where everything is a lot inexpensive. They damn sure not going to be over here tricking that little $60K off on you. So this is why I always implore younger women to think. Use your head, use your noggin before you go getting into these relationships with these guys. They want you dependent. They want you to be able to come to them and be like, hey, I need hair and nails done. You know, a older man with a woman who's in her teens and early 20s, him only having to pay for your hair and nails is like a symphony to him. It's a sigh of relief because women in his age bracket, they're not worried about hair and nails. Women in his age bracket, they're independent. They got their own. They got their own hair and nails. Women in their 30s and 40s, they want the rent paid. They want you to drop down no less than $1,000. So when they get with you in your teens and early 20s, and you talking about some little hair and nails, that's a sigh of relief for them. You are extremely low maintenance in their eyes. Because an older woman, her mantra is ain't nothing going on but the rent. They don't want to deal with that. So that's another reason why it's a predatory power dynamic. And I've been telling people this for the longest, the absolute longest. And I don't know why a lot of these level up coaches and a lot of these men, I know why the men do it, but I don't understand why the women do it, because they know that this is what it is. I've heard many of older female relationship coach say older men are the answer, but they don't tell you what it is that you have to go through. They're cheap. And once again, we're talking about men in the Black community. They cheap. They not trying to give up the money like that. Now, you do have the ones that will take you to the fancy restaurants. They will take you, on vacations, but they're going too. These are the men that don't mind spending money on things that they are also going to enjoy. And that's the other thing that you have to look out for, you ladies. Don't mistake a man taking you on a trip or taking you to an expensive restaurant as him splurging on you. You are his fun. You are his companion as he does the things that he was going to do anyway. So you're benefited because it's on his dime. Yes. But outside of you both having fun and going on that trip, he's not going to put any extra money in your hands. Pay attention. Pay attention. You go on a trip, he's going on a trip too. That was something that he was going to do anyway. He just wanted a companion to go with him. When you get back from the trip, ask him for $500 and see what happens. Ask him to pay your car note and see what happens. Exactly. AP from the Bronx says, ladies, if you are in the spring season of your life, don't get with a man who is in his winter season of his life. And these are facts on facts. Because I have heard so many young ladies come running up, they excited. Oh, he took me on a trip to the Bahamas. We went on a cruise. We ate at this restaurant. But she ain't talking about he paid my rent, he put money in my cash app, he did this and he did that. No. The only thing he gonna do, he gonna buy you a cheap ass dress, a cheap ass bag, get your hair and nails done, and then you gonna go on a trip so that you can make him happy. Because these are things that he does anyway. He's not gonna put any significant money in your hand or do anything significant to improve your life beyond you and accompanying him on a trip that he was going to go on anyway. Y'all got to learn how to peep the game. Now, if going on a trip is all you want out of life, do you, boo? Myself, I can take myself on a nice trip without having to go with no geriatric diaper wearing gigolo. I can do that for myself without being the cat that's licking on the banana. Because that's exactly what you end up doing. You're the cat licking on the old banana that got those brown spots on it. Because he took you on a trip that he was going to go on anyway. And you so grateful. See, I'm telling you these things so that you can open your eyes and be hip to the game. But a lot of y'all don't want to be hip to the game. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with a great vast majority of you. This is what's wrong with a great vast majority of you. Because you are lazy and because you lack ambition, you feel as if the easiest way for you to make it is you gonna use what you got to get ahead. So you'll settle. You'll marry your old man. You'll not be happy with him. You'll not even be attracted to him. But if he can give you the bare minimum of keeping a roof over your head, you'll lick that old spotted banana and think that you winning. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. But back to the snake oil. Iver said orange and purple hairs. Yeah. Black women are being sold a lot of snake oil around these parts when it comes to leveling up. A true level up is when you're in a relationship that you are completely happy and satisfied in. Okay? Where you feel respected, where you feel that you're being taken care of, where you have that stability, where you're being emotionally, mentally, and emotionally fed. A true level up looks exactly like Ciara and Russell Wilson's situation. Ciara did not have to go decades older than herself to level up. And Ciara had her own bag even before she got married to Russell Wilson. So she's not in no situation where she has to be desperate. And that's what a lot of these level up coaches don't explain either. Ciara can take her own self on a nice trip if she wanted to. She didn't need Russell Wilson for that. Ciara leveled up because she got with a man who was the complete opposite of her child's father. That's what she meant by leveling up. She began to love herself. And she began to look at characteristics and attributes in a man beyond just the wallet. Of course, she wanted a man that also had things going on for himself financially, but spiritually, characteristic wise, she got somebody completely different than the man that she sired a child with. The man that she was with before, that she had the baby by, He had money. He could offer her stability. But Ciara was put in a position where she would have to settle if she were to stay with that man. And when I say settle, soon as he got her pregnant, he called off the wedding because he felt as if he had her. And he felt that he didn't have to marry her because now that she's pregnant, she's stuck to him anyway for the 18 years. So now he can go play around, be with as many other women as he wanted to, and he ain't even got to marry her. So when he called off the wedding, that was a wake-up call to Ciara that she need to level up in her mindset of what kind of man she was settling down with. And it had nothing to do with going older, but it had everything to do with looking at the characteristic of that man. Did he have the same values that she had? Reigning Woman says, right, but Ciara also had an example in her parents. Plus, these young females today believe in hot girl summers, so they don't even know what respect is. Very true. Very, very true. The community does have a very messed up mindset. So very good observation at Reigning Woman. Hybrid says Ciara realized that she lost herself for a moment. Exactly. And seeing in that moment of her realizing that she didn't choose well in the first place. Because I'm going to tell you, I forget the guy's name. That's the reason why I keep calling him the baby's father. So if anybody can remember his name, put it down in the chat. But Ciara's child's father was a Pookie. Let's just put it that way. He had the ghetto Pookie mindset when it came to being in a relationship. See, the ghetto Pookie mindset in those men's mind, especially black men, they feel as if they are entitled to be with more than one woman. They don't respect women. They don't look at you as being a human being or having feelings that they should honor or respect. And so therefore, they're going to make decisions for you and put you in situations that you did not sign up for. So you got a lot of guys with the Pookie mindset that'll see a woman and she's a good woman. They want to tie that good woman down. So what they'll do is they'll dangle the prospect of marriage in front of you. And that'll keep you there for a minute. And some of them may even marry you to tie you down. But even better, if they can put a baby in you, they feel like that's enough to keep you there because they know that you're going to have to deal with them because you got that baby. And now they feel, and this is the ghetto Pookie mindset, they feel that they have free reign to run around and cheat on you and treat you any kind of way because you can't go nowhere because now you got their kid. That's their mindset. And that's exactly what Ciara's baby father was trying to do to her. But Ciara woke up. She woke up. And see, this is why I say the level up relationship coaches are being disingenuous because they bastardize Ciara's level up message. Her original level of message was not about hypergamy or finding a man with all this money that's going to take care of you and rescue you like you're Snow White or Cinderella. That was not her original message. And I get so angry when I hear these women using Ciara's situation and talking about leveling up, because that's not what Ciara was talking about. Ciara was talking about when she woke up and she saw what her baby's father was trying to do to her and what all she had to compromise in order to be with him. And she finally woke up and found that the juice was not worth the squeeze. Yeah, he had money, he had clout, he had fame, he had material things, but he had no substance. And he did not make a good husband, let alone a father. So she found the man that had all those things, but he also had substance. He had morals, he had values, and he was a better leader. That's what the level up is. It is simply vetting better. It is simply choosing the best man for the job, as Crystalline Carrison would say. And sometimes the best man for the job doesn't always necessarily mean money. Because once again, if we're talking about dating in the Black community, the average Black man only makes 45K, y'all. Yes, hybrid character. If we keep underestimating the importance of a man's character, his morals, and his value system, we are going to continuously lose, because money don't necessarily make you a winner. Imagine if Ciara had went on ahead and married the baby father that got the money and the means to give her a comfortable life. But would she have been happy with him running around cheating on her and embarrassing her and making more illegitimate babies on her? The answer is emphatically no. And she's been with Russell Wilson all this time. We have yet to hear about an outside baby. We have yet to hear about him cheating. We have yet to hear about him embarrassing her. And they seem very happy. And that's what you're looking for. True success is happiness, not just money. And that's something, especially in the Black female community, we have to learn, because we are extremely money driven over here. Yes, you want a man that is financially stable, but that cannot be the only thing that you look at. Too many times I see stories of these young girls talking about they knew their husbands when they were 15 and 16, when they were just young, developing little girls, not women, they're little girls. Their brain haven't even fully developed yet. Too many times I hear stories of this. Exactly. Raining says Future. That's his name, Future. Future is a man child and Russell is a man. Big difference. Talking about substance. Exactly. Nowhere in Sierra's original statement about leveling up did she mention hypergamy or money. But I'm just here to tell you how it got bastardized. And a lot of these level up and dating coaches took it and ran with it, and they started their own narrative. We have always been a group of women that was mesmerized by shiny things. Even back in the 80s and the 90s, we were looking at the ballers. We used to call them ballers back then. The guys with the shiny rims on their car, big shiny gold chains, shiny this, shiny that, money, money, money. And these guys lack substance, and they left you baby mamas. They didn't marry you. There's a whole trail of baby mamas stemming from ballers. Guys who are on the same psychological level as Future. Yeah, they got the money, but they don't have the mentality to be a good husband or a good leader. The money and the mentality have to go hand in hand. And that's the reason why I say you guys have been sold snake oil. But it's not sexy to tell young Black women to go and find yourself first before you find a husband. It's not sexy. It's sexier to tell you to find the right lace front first. It's sexier to tell you how to find the right bodycon dress. It's sexier to tell you how to run game to get money. But it's not sexy to tell you to find yourself, to cultivate yourself, to make sure that you can take care of yourself first. See, those things are not sexy because it's more important for you to find those things in a man and not in yourself. With the data being what it is, when it comes to the men in our community, and on average that they all only make 45K. If you are a woman who also makes 45K, if you put your crumbs with his crumbs, you're almost at 100K together. So why would you settle for a man who has a pension and maybe a few dollars that he's getting on the side from whatever income he's getting? And so maybe altogether he might have 60K or 70K. Still not a hell of a lot of money. But you're going to stop cultivating yourself. You're going to walk into that situation with nothing and expect that man to ball out on you on 60, 70K, because that's about as good as it's going to get in the Black community, if we're being realistic. See, this is what a lot of you don't like to hear. Y'all don't like to hear realistic numbers. You want the fairy tale. You want somebody to swoop down from fairy tale social media land and tell you that you can snag an older man that's getting the same amount of money as Hugh Hefner. And I'm just going to be completely honest with you about having that mindset. Men like Hugh Hefner have access to women who are models, women who are centerfolds, Miss USA, Miss America. Those are the type of women they have access to on a regular basis. There are not a lot of Miss Americas in the world. Most women are average. Most of us are average. So rather than deal in what you can get and what is accessible to you, you'll let somebody zip down from imaginary YouTube land, sell you some snake oil, and have you believing that you can get the same access to women who train for pageants all their lives. You can get the same access to the type of men that they have access to, simply by getting a tummy tuck and a BBL. That's what they'll tell you. And I'm here to tell you to get real. You'll be better off building with someone in your own age bracket that has similar, someone in your own age bracket that has similar attributes that you want. There it is right there. Better to get your own bag and build with someone in your own age group who is like-minded. Because if you crunch the numbers, the odds are not in your favor. If most women are average and very few women are 8s, 9s, and 10s, you're not going to have access to men like Hugh Hefner or men of that ilk that are multi-billionaires or millionaires. You're not going to have even access to men who make 500K. And even those women who are 8, 9s, and 10s, they have issues getting married because the competition is very stiff. And then after they get ran through, they're upset when the man turns around and marries someone who's average, like Elon Musk. Some of these rich guys end up marrying women who are average. These are women who had already had education or women that they had grew up with. But one thing that they got that you don't get is they can trust these women. They know them, they grew up with them. The women have substance and you don't. The only thing that you ever aspired to do was learn how to do fellatio, learn which bodycon dress to put on, learn how to beat your face, but you didn't learn anything else of substance. Your level up coach didn't tell you how to have substance. And so you're boring to them. And you do nothing and you add nothing to their lives worth a damn. You forget that very important component, because not all of these 6-figure guys are so how can I say, they're not all just looking for a big butt and a smile, so to speak. Some of them do require that you have substance. So it is like the likelihood of any of you all hitting the jackpot and getting with a man that's earning that much money and willing to spend it on you, you might as well go and buy a lottery ticket from the lottery stand and hope and pray to hit the big jackpot. That's how much the odds are not in your favor. But you would rather take the snake oil than listen to somebody like me who has been married, about to be married again. You're not going to listen to me, though. You think you're going to get money and stability out of the situation, but it's going to be a lot of headache and turmoil. That's most likely what you're going to end up getting. And let's not even talk about the incompatibility. There's a lot of incompatibility when you come to the older man, younger woman dynamic. You're talking about more than a 10-year age difference. Because, see, I know that there are some age differences. A 7 to 10-year age difference, to me, you guys are still in the same age bracket. So you're still going to have similar likes, similar, compatibility. But when you get more than a decade out there in the age difference, there are going to be quite a few incompatibility issues that you're going to be facing. Like just recently, I believe I was listening to a program and they was talking about this passport brother. Evidently, he's been given a lot of flack because he got ran out of I think it was it Brazil? I want to say it was Brazil that he got ran out of. He got ran out of there, then he went over to some little Asian spot and got with the Asian chicks. And this one little Asian chick, she looks like she might be in her 20s. You can see her muffing him in the face. And I know a lot of you've already seen that. And I'm going to get to where this ties in with compatibility. You see, in all the critiques that I heard online about this passport brother and his choice of women, a lot of people were not taking into consideration that this young man stated that he's in his 20s, his early 20s. I think he says like, what, 22, 23 or something like that. What kind of dating experience could someone in their 20s have? Not very much. Oh, thank you, AP from the Bronx, Thailand. He dated some chick from Thailand. Yeah, I knew he was like in his early 20s, 22, 23. But I'm going to tie it back into the compatibility thing in a minute. So he's with this chick from Thailand. And people are taking note that he has said previously that the women in Brazil, Thailand, all these other different women that he's dated outside the United States, they're more submissive, they're more feminine, they're more friendly, they're more all of this other stuff that American women, especially American Black women, are not. But here, you have him with this woman from Thailand. She's being very disrespectful for him. He's complaining about the disrespect left and right. And she's continuously, clowning him on camera. But he's 23 and she looks like I don't know how old she was, but she might have been maybe, I say 19, between 18, 19, 20. She looked pretty young to me. So now you're going to make this young woman the example of all Thai women. That's just as if someone came here to the United States and pulled a random 17, 18, 19-year-old Black woman from the hood, or Black girl from the hood, and made her the example of all Black American women. You do understand that doing that is foolhardy, because when people are that young, they're more playful. I remember when I was in my teens, I was like 18, 19, 20. That young, I was playful. I met my husband when I was about 18 or 19. And me and him would be running, chasing each other at the bus stop, playing with each other, because we were still young. Now, me at 47, I'm not running around the bus stop playing with nobody. I'm driving my car. But, this is where I said, the propaganda is crazy. Oh, wow. AP said he said that he found his dad's porn stash at 6 years old, and he has been hooked on Brazil women ever since. Wow. But I'm telling you, these are Black men leaders. These little 23-year-old passport hopping horny toes. This guy is 23. His brain is not even fully developed yet. But you're going to take advice from that. That's the same as when Jessica X said that she was in a relationship back when she was like 17, 18. And I think right now she's like in her mid-20s. It's been some years since she's been online. But even back then, I was like, this is a person that has no experience trying to give Black men and Black women advice about life and dating. As an older woman that has her head and her faculties together and knows that this is something that doesn't make any sense, I have to call bullshit. But here's the reason why this young 23-year-old man chose this 18, 19, 20-year-old Thai chick. They're both young and they both have a lot of things in common. They're both playful. So in as much as we sat up here and looked at her putting her hand in his face as being disrespectful, it would be disrespectful at our age. But remember when you were that age and how y'all used to play. See, I think a lot of us in our 30s, 40s, and 50s, we forget when we were teenagers and early 20s, how we used to play with each other. I can't forget, because I'm still looking at my kids, my son in his early 20s, and I remember them in their teens, how they play. Those are young people. Don't ever, as somebody in your 30s, 40s, and 50, compare yourself to the actions of someone who's in their teens and early 20s. And that's where a lot of these content creators that's critiquing this whole situation with this young man are going wrong. The Thai girl muffed him. She's so immature. And so therefore, he's making a bad choice in women, because he said that those women were more mature than women in the United States. A woman at that age, you'll be hard pressed to find any woman at that age that's going to be completely and totally mature and lack playfulness. Now, granted, there are some young people that are more serious, some, but if you look at the vast majority of young people and how they act, they have energy for days. They're very playful. And so that goes into the compatibility factor. You're young, you're vibrant, you got all this energy, and now your man is a geriatric 47, 48-year-old, 57, 58-year-old. You're going to want to jump on his back and break it. Because I used to jump on my husband's back when we were younger. But my husband was young. He could take me jumping on his back. I have a picture of my daughter who's in her 20s and her fiance who's in her 20s. Go to my community tab. My daughter is all up on her boyfriend's back and they're being playful. CK and I, we're in our 40s and heading over to our 50s. In our picture, he just has one leg in his hand. That's it. We're not energetic and playful like that as we get older. So CK and I are more compatible, and my daughter and her guy are more compatible because they're in the same age bracket. We're with people that's in our same age bracket, and we're not trying to fit a square into we're not trying to fit a circle into a square hole. And that's what happens when you have the age dynamic. It's like trying to fit the square, try to fit a circle into the square hole. It's not going to work. Now, I don't want to hear about the rare instances, because we all know that there are exceptions. But the exceptions, once again, people, is not the rule. For the most part, where there's incompatibility, there's going to be a breakdown in the relationship. And a lot of times we as older people, in our mind, we're still young, but in practice, we're old. In my mind, I thought CK could pick me up and hoist me on his back, but in practice, all he could get was that one leg up. And I wasn't mad at that, because I have the wisdom to know that that's where we're at. And I know that that's where they're at right now. But imagine a young girl with a 58-year-old man, even in his best physical shape. Because black men, they love them with the big badonkadonk. So no matter what they talk about, size six my ass. These nookers, they like a size 14, 15. I'm just gonna put it out there, because they want that ass. Imagine this 58-year-old trying to get a size 14, 15 on their old geriatric back. And you're young and you got energy. This is how you play. You're gonna hop on his on his junk when he's laying in the bed. I used to do it. My husband laying in the bed, I feel a surge of energy. I'm gonna hop on his junk, but he can take it because he's young. Somebody hitting over into their 60s, you try to hop on them with no notice while they laying down in the bed and see what happens. And then there's a difference in what you like to watch on television. My daughter in her 20s, she drives me crazy with this amazing Lucas guy and some of the stuff that she watches on YouTube. That stuff doesn't make any sense to me what some of these young people are doing and talking about. But other young people, they can vibe with that. That's their thing. Now you get an old fogey ass man in his 50s trying to vibe with somebody in their 20s, 18, 19, 20. And they got their little online stuff playing in the background. And he's looking at that like, man, nah, that's, they don't have nothing to talk about. He's walking away from her. He's going in his room. Hey, call me when you're ready to fuck. I'm sorry. I'm cussing now. But that's basically what it is. Because at 58, he's not going to understand what it is that she's attracted to as far as what's entertaining to her. He's going to look at it and shake his head and be like, hey, I'm finna go upstairs in the room. Hey, call me when you're ready to fuck. Or I'll call you when I'm ready to fuck. That's basically all it is. And you have nothing to talk about. You're not vibing together. You're not enjoying each other's company. This is strictly a transactional sexual relationship at this point. She's listening to her music. Him at 58, he thinks it's bumpity bump music. He thinks it's trash. He thinks that the new rappers nowadays, they don't have any talent. They're trash. He's reminiscing on KRS-One and Eazy-E and Two Live Crew. He's reminiscing on the old rappers from the 80s. Meanwhile, she's listening to this new stuff that he can't stand. So he just throwing his hands up. Hey, you know what? I'll just call you when I want a blowjob. I'll call you when I want a blowjob. You're not vibing. You have nothing in common. Now she's with her friends. They're doing all this new river dance type dancing, and you've seen the stuff on TikTok. They got all these new dance moves that these young people are doing now. And he liked to watch it. But when she pulled him up and said, come on, daddy, let's get it. He looking at her like, what? Right. AP from the Bronx says he's listening to the Sugar Hill Gang, Tony Love, and NWA. Right. Now, I don't know what these young people are listening to. Don't get me to land. But that's what I remember. So anybody in my age bracket, that's what they're going to be into. You get with somebody in their 20s, they're not going to be into that shit. They're going to be looking at you like, yeah, old man, that's good for a throwback, but I want to listen to my shit now. You're incompatible. So there's just a whole myriad of problems there that come in with it. And that's why I say I wouldn't do it. I experienced that. I mean, I remember being in a room one day with the guy that I was dating. He was about maybe 20 years my senior. And he was talking about presidents that were around when I wasn't even born. And I could not even be part of that conversation because I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. And I felt excluded. I felt left out because there were other people in the room that did know what he was talking about. There was other older women in the room that knew what he was talking about and could give him the conversation I couldn't give him at the time. And then when he would be around me and my friends, he had no idea what the hell we were talking about. And then he was always killing our vibe, talking about, yeah, you know, y'all young people this, y'all young people that, and shitting all over our stuff. And then he want to interject his old shit. And we looking at him like, man, get the fuck out of here, old man. Go take a nap. And that was my man. But y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all want to hear the fairy tale. Y'all want Faith to come on here and say none of that stuff matters. And I'm here to tell you it certainly does. Yeah, it do matter. It matters, and it's going to definitely be a factor in how long that relationship lasts. And you got a lot of black men, once again, not only do they average 45K, but a lot of them don't have life insurance. And you as a young person, you're not going to be looking into stuff like that because you yourself probably ain't got life insurance. I watched a young girl be strong-armed into marrying an older man. I think he was a pastor. They said that there was actually somebody that kind of locked her into an office so that she couldn't go nowhere before the ceremony. You have a photograph of her smiling as she's sitting on his lap, the young child bride. And he's like 60 or 70. And I want to show you this is what it looks like. I mean, it doesn't look pretty. Find my overlay. This is the thumbnail. That doesn't look sexy. That's not sexy at all. But he has money and she's young. She probably does not have very much ambition. Probably, you know, think that this is the easiest way for her to make it. I don't think I would be happy in a situation where I would have to wake up and be married to this person every day. I don't care how much money he has because money don't buy happiness. But you know, we romanticize the winter spring relationship so much, but we don't really show what it really looked like. Because when we think of the winter spring relationship, we think about maybe, let me see, what kind of picture? Let me see what picture I got here. We think of, no, none of these look appealing to me. I mean, even this is unappealing. I wouldn't want to wake up to that. But this is the reality of what that looks like. I wouldn't want to wake up to this as a 20-year-old. This is not my happily ever after. AP from the Bronx said yuck. Right, but I mean, when you hear these guys online talking and they're trying to convince these young women to get with them because they're supposed to be the best option, I have to really sit back and I have to ask you to question if that is really your best option. Is this your best option for happiness? Because success is really about how happy you are at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, this is not success. I do not envy her having to deal with this to get what she got. Now, if the old man looked like Idris Elba, I would be envious. If the old man looked like Will Smith, I would be envious. Or even Denzel Washington, I would be envious. But this is what y'all getting. You're not getting no Idris Elbas. You're not getting no Will Smiths. You're not getting no Denzels. This is what y'all getting. And so if I don't envy you, I don't want to be like you. What was that young girl? Her last name was Hugabrook. I never forget. She did a video talking about her situation where she married a man that had been her mother's boyfriend at one point in time. And he raised her, or he helped her, he helped raise her. He changed her diapers. There's a picture of him when she was like 2 years old. He's holding her. And she laughing, my husband holding me. And it's because in the Black community, we got a lot of Black women who are sick in the head too. Now, it's not just about the predatory nature of men, but it's also the desperate mindset of women too. Like I said, we have been indoctrinated to believe that this is the best we can get, especially if we have no ambition ourselves. So our last ditch effort to survive will be men like this. So you have the young Hugabrook girl, that's her last ditch effort, because she was brought up not to believe in herself, but to latch on to predatory men and to normalize the predatory nature of these men. Because I remember in a video that she did, she said, he's my predator. He's my predator. I mean, she's proud of this. Hey, that's my predator. You got to get your own. Get your own predator. He's my predator. Because she was going back and forth with another young lady about the predatory husband that she married. And see, make no mistake, these guys that go after these young girls, especially as young as the Hugabrook girl, After you start aging out and after you start maturing and you start to sound a little bit too much like a grown woman who's has wisdom and you're wise, you become unattractive to him. Because remember, the thing that was most attractive to him about you was that you were young, you were dumb, and you were dependent. Young, dumb, dependent. That's how they like you. That's the reason why they tell you that your education isn't important. Because if you're educated, you'll be smart enough not to deal with them. So you gotta be dumb. You gotta be ignorant. Because that's the only mentality that they can mold. And once you're no longer jaded, no longer dumb, no longer inexperienced, they're going to start looking to replace you with somebody who is dumb, young, and inexperienced. And they're lazy. They're not going to look far. There's going to be somebody in the family, somebody in the household, somebody who's accessible, like you were accessible when he was dating your mama. And I have seen Black women come into my content session and they brag about their winter spring romance with their husband. Oh my, I met my husband when I was 15 and we got married when I was 18. And they say it and they're proud of it and they don't see a problem with it. And that's the mentality and the mindset that we as women pass down to our daughters. To the point that we have this young Huggerbrook girl saying, hey, that's my predator. He's my predator. Get your own. We normalize it. There's nothing wrong with it. And grown Black women will lock little girls up in offices and churches and make them marry men who are 30 and 40 years older than them, 50 years older. Because that's how messed up the mentality of some of the women in this community. And then when I say we need a better class, we need a better class of women because there's better than that. I'm talking about mentality. But people get upset when I say better. But you all keep pimping your daughters off to your boyfriends. Some of you do it and don't even know you're doing it. You don't even know that you've allowed a predator into your midst. You were young when he got with you. When he got with you, you were 18, 19 years old and you had a 2 or 3-year-old daughter. And then when you started aging out, he moved on to your daughter. And you can't fathom how that happened. He's my predator. Get your own. That's the mentality that we're left with. And I'm not saying that that's every winter spring romance, but in the Black community, that's pretty much how it goes. You have Black men putting it in rap songs. Bring me your daughter. How many Black female rappers put in their lyrics, bring me your son. We don't see nothing wrong with it as women. We think it's cute. And we'll go rap along with those lyrics, but then be surprised when he is actually trying to go after our daughters. So that's the reason why I say, the energy is not reciprocal. I'm going to go back full circle to what I said earlier. Black women, you are asked to settle at every turn. And it's not just Black men trying to convince you, but it's also other Black women. And they package it up in a cute little package, tied up with a nice shiny bow, and they call it leveling up. But what it's really doing is you're leveling down. It's numbing your ability to vet men because you don't see the vetting process as being more important than getting the bag. So you go and find the best bodycon dress you can find. You beat your face. You try to be fit, feminine, and friendly. You watch all the Kevin Samuels videos. You watch all the videos that all the other level up female gurus have out there for you. They tell you how to get the best lace front and how to do this and how to do that, but they don't tell you that you're a fantasy. They don't tell you that you will be objectified more than you will be loved. When I was young, it felt good to get that compliment from men. Oh, you so beautiful, you're this, you're that. And it never dawned on me that I was being objectified more than I was being loved. And I never knew what it really meant to be loved by a man. Because I thought love was money. But it's way more than that. Love is having a solid plan for a person. It's not just wanting to plant a seed inside of a person just to hold them there, but it's wanting to establish legacy. Love is more than him buying you Birkin bags or, material things, getting a hair and nails done. But it's ensuring that if something were to happen to him, I'm going to be okay. Love is also him encouraging me to have my own goals and my own dreams realized. and him respecting my thoughts and my opinions just as much as he wants me to respect his. It's not him telling me that my education is not important. It's not him mocking me because I'm educated. It's not him telling me that I don't have value if I gain weight. If I'm not a size 6. That's not love. It's not him telling me to let him cheat in peace. That's not love. And so the very thing that a lot of these relationship coaches should be telling you, they're not, because it doesn't fit in with the narrative. And they're not going to tell you that you should look for your efforts to be reciprocated. If you are going out of your way to be a size 6, if you're going out of your way to be childless and all this other stuff, this long laundry list of things they want you to be in order to be perfect and worthy of their 6 figures or more, what is it that they're willing to give you besides the money? Are they trying to be good looking for you? Are they trying to be healthy? Are they trying to be fun to be with? Because see, it goes both ways. What's up, Sister George in the house? And in my mind, the juice is no longer worth the squeeze if at the end of the day I'm not happy. If at the end of the day I'm a size 6, I'm not having any types of dreams or aspirations for myself. At the end of the day, if my thoughts are not just as important as yours, and I have to tiptoe around you every second I'm with you, if I have to go to you like I'm a little child and ask for money, then my quality of life is shit, even though I'm with a 6-figure earner. But this is the programming and the brainwashing that we get shoved down our throats on a regular. This is what Black women are told we're supposed to strive for. Black women in particular. I know every woman has been told to get the bag, but Black women in particular, we always have to make sacrifices. We have to sacrifice what makes us happy in order to get a man, in order to say we got somebody, in order to say we got somebody that got something. Looking at this picture right here, I don't envy her at all. And this is 9 times out of 10 when you're talking about dating 20 and 30 and 40 years, sometimes even 50 years your senior. This picture is what that looks like. See, it sounds sexy when they talking about it online. But let's put the visual aids up, shall we? Look at the visual aids. See, once again, they not getting no Idris Elba. Now, see, Idris Elba is old. Denzel is old. Will Smith is old to a 20-year-old. But you're not getting no Idris Elbas. You're not getting no Will Smiths. You're not even getting a Denzel. And hell, he's starting to break. You're not getting, what's the other guy's name? Morris Chestnut. Morris Chestnut is getting old, y'all. I saw a sitcom or a show that he was in. I think he did a remake of The Best Man, and then he was on this other show, and he's starting to get old. I would take that though if I was in my 20s, but most black men don't look like that. They not looking like that though. They looking like this guy in the picture. They looking like this guy right here. That's not Idris Elba. That's not Idris Elba. They looking like this right here. That's not Morris Chestnut. Okay, they looking like this. That's not Will Smith. Okay, this is what they looking like. So when they selling you the snake oil, when they telling you an older man is your best choice, y'all remember these images. And then, you know what? Do a survey of the men in your neighborhood. Look at the men 40 to 59 in your neighborhood. 40 to 59, because that's what they telling you to get with. Look at them. This is what they look like. And you got to deal with it. And you have to ask yourself, is that juice really worth the squeeze? Because once again, the average black man, even in his 40s and 50s, making 45K. When he gets in his 40s and 50s, he may, slim may get to 60K. And then you have a very, very small percent, even after that gets to 100K. And this is what they look like. So before we sit up here and drink the Kool-Aid and buy the snake oil, I want you guys to get a realistic view of what you're getting. This is a realistic view. It would be easier for you to cultivate yourself. It would be easier for you to work on you first. And once you do that, it would be easier for you to get with a like-minded individual in your own age bracket and build with him. You'll have a better chance of getting to 100K in the household if you build with someone your own age. Because once again, when they get to the age of this guy here in the picture, they got children from previous relationships. That's child support money coming out of the household. You got to deduct for that. They might be paying alimony. You got to deduct from that. They have credit problems. You got to deduct for that. And then let's not even start talking about how the health is going downhill, because black men think that they cannot get woe out. So right now they getting their future on. They drinking, they doing drugs, they out here throwing their penis all into the ground. I mean, they dragging that thing everywhere. riddled with STDs and giving it to everybody. And when they get to be about this age, all of that drinking, all that partying, all that fucking catch up with them. And if they ain't got the STD, they got the children. And to me, that's an STD. I'm sorry. They got something they can't get rid of. And they want you as a black woman to overlook all of that and take them. But you got to be perfect. You got to be a size 6. You got to be childless. You got to be fit, feminine, and friendly, all to get this that you're looking at in the photo. And I'm telling you, the juice just isn't worth the squeeze. Look at it. I'm sorry. I do not envy this person at all. I don't envy her. Don't want to be like her. But at any rate, I'm going on 2 hours long with this. But I did want to say thank you for everybody that tuned in. And I want to give a shout out to all of my regulars. Hybrid, first person that dropped down in the chat room. I just want to go ahead and give you your shout out. And I'm sorry, I'm on my phone, so this takes a long time, y'all. But let me go ahead and say shout out to all my people that supports regularly. Thank you so much. But with that said, guys, I'm not going to stay on here. I just wanted to stick my head in, have this conversation with you guys. More content to come. This is Faith. You have been watching The Faith Factor. And I love you guys. Peace. And I'm out of here. Holla.